The Marshall Blade concept system breaks things down by angles. What it allows you to do is to have a few defensive responses that you can use against virtually any type of attack coming in. One type of special attack that we might consider is a straight downward attack. So typically we look at angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4. Angle 5 is any kind of a straight line attack, but we also want to be particularly concerned with a downward attack. The reason is against an impact weapon, perhaps something like a hammer, that is one of the most common things you're going to run into. So somebody trying to strike you and come straight down this way, hitting you right on top of the head. So what we want to do is make sure that we have a good solid response for that. When using the knife, what we want to do is not only be able to use the edge of the knife, but make sure that we back this up with a proper structure of your body to be able to defend and stop that particular attack to keep you safe. So what we do is we use a technique called a roof block. The real structure of this is essentially my left arm, and it's in this position where my palm is flat right on center line, and I've got a nice wedging action of my forearm. The easiest way to learn this, you can actually take both your hands, put your hands together in kind of a praying position like this, and put it up this way, and then just take one half of it. So where the strength of this comes in, when Thane is striking here, if he leans in on this and gives me some good pressure, you can see that skeletally, the skeletal structure of my arm is what's doing all the work. As soon as I let this bend, or if I try to block this way, if I'm blocking here and he pushes in, my tricep muscle is trying to do all the work. As soon as I rotate this forward, the bones align and they do all the work. As far as the knife position on this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the knuckles of my hand here, place those at the base of the knife edge of my hand here, so we get this structure. We call it a roof block. This is just like a pitched roof. That's where it gets its name. So as the strike comes in here, I'm driving this forward, blocking his arm, and at the same time what I'm doing is orienting the edge here so that my first cut, I simply pull a little bit to the side this way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move in, and as we do, grab his wrist as well and pull his arm down so that we anchor the hand to the hip. What this is doing is rotating his arm along its axis, it's locking out his shoulder, and it's also exposing his bicep for the next cut. Let's do-si-do, please. So he comes in, roof block, cutting, grabbing and pulling down, and you can see how his bicep is basically exposed here. My next cut would be to pressure cut down through that bicep. I'm not only cutting the muscle itself, which takes away the ability of the elbow to bend and for him to rechamber, but it also cuts the nerves that allow his brain to control the rest of his arm, including the ability to simply close his hand and grip. So from this cut here, I'm sinking my body weight. Notice how that bends his knees. As always, we thrust into the leg here, and then cut that quadricep muscle for the mobility kill, drop him in place. That allows us to create distance, create safety. So slowly, step by step again, roof block, cutting, stepping forward, anchoring the hand here. Notice how this is prepped and ready to go. Elbow close to the ribs, sinking body weight to add power to the cut. Thrusting into the leg, rotating this down, cutting across the quad. That basically finishes it. So we put that together. Let's take a look from the other side. Now, one of the great things about this is also one of those things where we have lots of common ground. Doesn't matter whether it's a right-handed attack or a left-handed attack. So let's say in this case it's a left-handed attack. I don't want to think about doing a different technique. I don't want to have to change gears at all. So as this comes in, I still do my roof block. The only difference is now I end up on the outside of his arm. So instead of bicep, I cut tricep. Instead of quadricep, I thrust to the back of his leg, I cut his calf. We typically add cutting the Achilles tendon into that as well. Still creates that mobility kill, puts him down on the ground, takes him out of the fight, allows us to create distance and safety. Do-si-do, please. So he attacks, roof, cut, thrust, cut, cut, and finish. So again, when we look at the angles of the attack, that downward angle, doesn't matter, right hand, left hand, I really don't want to think about the difference between those two. I just want to have one good defensive response that allows me to react spontaneously and defend my life.